Hello everyone, Republic Jim here, and I just wanted to introduce my new rock that I brought home the other day. Another lifting stone for me. I just have my other two here just for a little perspective. This one right here is the smallest of the batch. Originally it was 126 pounds, but at some point when I dropped it, some of it broke off, so it's about 115 pounds now. And then this one is 175, as you can probably tell. It's unfortunately very odd shaped and has kind of a pointy end there. Pretty uncomfortable for doing much with lifting, but I make do with what I have, and I've used that for carries, and it's still challenging. I haven't yet shouldered that, mostly because of the odd shape and pointy edges. The other one, the small one there, I carry it frequently and do squats with it and things, but it's got some obviously sharp edges there, and it's quite uncomfortable around those edges when I pick it up. And my buddy came over to say hi. But anyway, this is the star of this video. This beauty has been sitting in the ditch alongside the road that I drive on all the time for well over a year. And I just kept looking at it thinking, I bet I could lift that. And at one point several months ago, I went and made an attempt, and at that time I didn't even manage to get it to my knees. It was much harder than I was expecting, and it also has a very rough surface here that provides a little bit of extra grip, but like it tore up my arm a little bit when I picked it up the other day. But anyway, I was coming back from the dump, I had my utility trailer, and I stopped, and without any warm-up or anything, the first attempt, I almost got it to my knees before I dropped it. And on the second try, after I'd rested a bit and regrouped, I actually got it above my knees, was able to lap it, and then stood up with it and took a couple of steps, loaded it in the trailer, and brought it home. And I'm not going to lie, it was not at all a convincing lift. It was definitely a max effort, but I was able to get it up high enough to be able to lap it and get it into the trailer. And I'm looking forward to doing other sessions with it and gradually improving on that. But I might have to grind it a little bit on the surface in places just to try to smooth it out a bit so it doesn't, not quite so rough and tearing up my skin. And I know if I do that, that it'll reduce the weight slightly, but so far I haven't actually weighed it, so I'm going to get the scale out now and check that out and see what it comes up to. Okay, so that was a bit of a wrestling match, just getting that onto the scale and trying to get it balanced so it wasn't crushing anything. But here we go. And near as I can tell, weighs in about 247 pounds right now. I know our scale might not be totally accurate, especially the way that's sitting on there, but somewhere in that general weight range. And even if I grind down the surface just a little bit to smooth that out, I expect it'd still be well over 240. Might be able to take it down to like 245 range or something. But anyhow, I was kind of expecting it would be somewhere in that range because that thing is way harder to lift than the 175. But part of that difficulty too is just because of the size of it and the awkwardness, and just lifting natural stones is a whole lot harder than picking up that weight on a barbell. You know, 247 would not be all that challenging at all with the barbell, but with the awkward thing like that rock, it's definitely a tough whole body workout just picking it up. I won't be even attempting to lift that very high for quite a while. Just have to work at getting it to my lap, and and standing up with it, and then hopefully eventually I can progress to loading it onto a raised platform and keep going from there. And in the meantime, I can continue to work with these guys and hopefully be able to get the 175 to my shoulder at some point. But anybody that's messed with natural stones, though, knows what I'm talking about. So anyhow, I'm going to get that thing back off of the scale and try not to damage anything. All right, and before I go back in and wrap this up, how can I resist taking one more shot at it today? See how badly I tear myself up. Again, not as high as what I'd like to pick it up, but I'm satisfied at this point just being able to lap the thing, especially without warming up at all. So anyway, that's my new lifting stone. Hope that was interesting. This has been Republic Jim. I'll talk to you later.